Our next speaker, I'm looking at the introduction, and it doesn't fully do justice to the great work of Swami Chetanandaji, who's going to speak on how Ramakrishna's message encircled the globe. He'll be speaking from his seat, and we'll make sure that mic is working. If not, I have one working. Swami Chetananda um, is a senior Swami of the Ramakrishna Order, minister in charge of the Vedanta Society of St. Louis and Kansas City, Missouri, in the heartland of the United States of America. In 1960, he joined the order as a monk. From 1971 to 78, he served as the assistant minister of the Vedanta Society of Southern California, Los Angeles. And in 1978, he was transferred to be the assistant minister of the Vedanta Society of St. Louis under a very illustrious Swami in charge. And then he became the minister in charge in 1980. The Swami has inspiring and informative books is a horrendous understatement. The publications program that this Swami has overseen is a majestic example of the comparative force of spirituality in action. Now, in terms of non-doership, I shouldn't be too elaborate, but in terms of honoring the accomplishments, Swami Chetanandaji has done a magnificent job of many, many, many terrific, beautiful, well-edited, well-produced publications that we can only hope to emulate in the years to come. So with that, I will it's my honor to introduce Swami Chetanandaji.
Hirnantu Vishwe Amritasya Putraः Aye Dhamani Divyani Tastu Vedahametam Purusham Mahantam Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parastat Tameva Viditva Timeti Naina Panta Vidyati Anaya Naina Panta Yanaya Vidyati. From Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Listen, listen, O children of immortal bliss. Listen, O those who live in the celestial abode. I have seen the effulgent one who is beyond darkness. Knowing him alone, one can transcend death. There is no other way. There is no other way. Om Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. As you have heard, my topic, Ramakrishna's message encircled the globe within 10 years. Buddhism spread after 250 years after Buddha's passing away. Christianity went to England in 597 AD by St. Augustine, Pope Gregory at that time in Rome. It took many, many, many years to spread the message. But Ramakrishna's message, as Swamiji said, his message encircled the globe within 10 years. We are participating in this 125th anniversary of the Vedanta Society of San Francisco. Swami Vivekananda started 2 centers in this country. In 1894, Vedanta Society of New York. In 1900, Vedanta Society of Northern California. "125 years, nothing compared to infinite time." Swami Vivekananda, before his passing away, he made a prophetic remark. "I have given enough for 1500 years to the thinking humanity." 1500 years. Swamiji's message will continue more. Just now, when Bhaktamananda is speaking, it reminds me of Swami Turiyananda's one statement. But when we were with Swamiji, I thought Swamiji was a great scholar. But when I visited in America, I found Swamiji was a prophet. Vivekananda was a prophet. Now I shall go to my topic. Who is Ramakrishna? Ramakrishna was born in 1836, passed away in 1886. He was born in a very poor family, 60 miles northwest of Kolkata. He went to school, learned the alphabet. Then he was dropped out. I do not want this bread earning education. I want that education which will help me to realize God. Boom. No schooling. Came to Dakshineshwar as a worshipper of Divine Mother Kali. He explored. He is God real. His first realization came not through the practicing spiritual disciplines, came through longing, yearning, hunger for God. Looking at the setting sun, he used to cry, "Mother, another day is gone in vain, till thou art not revealed unto me." He took the sword of Kali and about to cut his own throat. Divine Mother appeared, and he lost his consciousness. His first spiritual consciousness experience came when he was 6 years old. His mind merged into the infinite. Sri Ramakrishna explored various branches of Hinduism and realized God in different ways. Then he practiced Islam, experienced Allah. He had the vision of Jesus. After realizing God in different religions, he proclaimed, "Jato mat, tato path." As many faiths, so many paths. Unique experience. He is unique in the religious history of the world. No human being has ever experimented and made adventure in other religions like Ramakrishna. Unique in the religious history of the world. Before I do not want to talk too much about Sri Ramakrishna at present, but I want to tell you the 3 biographers who introduced Ramakrishna to the Western world. First, 1896, Max Muller, famous German Orientalist, professor of Oxford. He wrote Ramakrishna and his sayings. He introduced Ramakrishna, a real Mahatman. That was the thing he wrote. Second, in 1928, Rumarola, the French Nobel laureate, wrote Ramakrishna's and Vivekananda's biography. I shall read a little bit to you. His language is so poetic, I cannot resist myself. "I am bringing to Europe as yet unaware of it, the fruit of a new autumn, the new message of the soul, the symphony of India, bearing the name Ramakrishna. The man whose image here I evoke was the consummation of 2000 years of spiritual life of 300 million people. In the epilogue, he wrote, "The man is no more, but his spirit has departed to travel in the veins of the collective life of humanity." Very poetic. Let me repeat that sentence again to you. The man himself was no more. His spirit had departed to travel along the path of collective life in the veins of humanity. Then, in 1964, Christopher Isherwood, famous English writer, wrote Ramakrishna's biography. He introduced, he said that this is the story of a phenomenon. He introduced Ramakrishna as a spiritual phenomenon. He said that I do not like the emotive word like saint and holy man, and avatar. Spiritual phenomenon. What does it mean? Phenomenon is sometimes extraordinary and mysterious. Ramakrishna is extraordinary and mysterious. So these three biographers, Western biographers, introduce Ramakrishna. Very interesting. Ramakrishna had 16 disciples. Swami Vivekananda was the main one. He came to America and at the Parliament of Religions in 1893. It was 400 years completion of the Columbus's discovery of America. 1492, it was 1892. American people wanted to demonstrate the advancement of science and technology and human thought. So, his Parliament of Religions was one of the main issues of the Parliament of the Columbian Exposition. Swamiji came. It is a very, I tell you frankly, this is the first time in the religious history of the world. The American people brought all religious representatives on the same stage. It never happened. It never happened. I have volumes of all these collections of Columbian Exposition. The magnitude of the parliament is noteworthy. 17 days it continued. 3 sessions every day. Each session 2.5 to 3 hours. There were 115 speakers and Swami Vivekananda 6 times. Audience 7,000. The Columbian Hall of Columbus and Hall of Washington. It is in Chicago, Art Institute. Religious history. If you study the religious history of the world, you will find in the 19th century the main focus of religion was reason. I want to understand God through brain. The 20th century, the main focus of religion was humanism. If religion does not help human beings, what good is that religion? In the 21st century, what is the main focus of religion? This century, mysticism. Why? People say we read enough, we heard enough, we have seen enough, now we want experience. That is the main focus of religion. I remember I went in 1992 in Spain, in Avila. They asked me to talk about mysticism on Ramakrishna. Mysticism. Now, You will see some modern people now say, we are not religious, but we are spiritual. It is a modern change of religion in the West. Another thing, a very important thing after the advent of Ramakrishna and after these parliamentary religions, most of the cities in America, in Europe, interreligious council, interfaith partnership. I am one of the members of the cabinet members of the interfaith partnership, which after the Ramakrishna's advent and after the parliamentary religions. In February 1896, in Madison Square Garden, Swamiji said, I learned from my master that the religions of the world are not contradictory or antagonistic. They are but various phases of one eternal religion. We must respect all religions. It was in 1884. I will have to go back a little bit. Sri Ramakrishna was in Samadhi, lying down in his bed. Holy Mother carried the food tray, cried out, thinking that he passed away. Then disciples came, he came back from Samadhi. Then look what he said. I was in the land of the white people. Their skin is white, their hearts are white, and they are simple and sincere. It is a very beautiful country. I think I shall go there. 1884, in Dakshineshwar, Sri Ramakrishna came to America or Western world through Samadhi. It is really amazing. He traveled through subtle body. When Vivekananda was about to be poisoned in Detroit, Sri Ramakrishna appeared before him and said, don't drink it. It is poison. Swamiji sometimes in Chicago out of ideas. Sri Ramakrishna would come at night to tell him that what to speak next day. He came through subtle body. Or Sri Ramakrishna came to the West through his 5 monastic disciples. Swami Pratamananda talked quite elaborately about the 5 disciples. They came. Next came the next generation of monks of the Ramakrishna Order. They spread. Now we have 350 centers all over the world, 2,000 monks of the Ramakrishna Order. I'm giving you some statistic to understand that how Ramakrishna is spreading. Ramakrishna's message is spreading all over the world. Next. So he came through Samadhi, he came through subtle body, he came through his disciple, monastic disciples, he came through next generation monks. Next, he came through literature. Very vital. The Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna was translated by Swami Nikhilananda in 1942. Margaret Wilson, daughter of President Wilson, was one of the editors. Joseph Campbell, famous Orientalist, he also one of the editors. Aldous Huxley, the famous writer, he wrote the foreword. Literature. The Gospel of Ramakrishna created a tremendous impact in the Western world. It has been translated on all major languages in the Western countries. Ramakrishna is spreading. Literature. In 1896, Swami Vivekananda gave a lecture in Madison Square Garden. Just religion, truth for yourself. Oh, realize truth for yourself. He left every religion undisturbed. He was talking about Sri Ramakrishna. Because he had realized that in reality, we are part and parcel of one eternal religion. Please remember, religion is not God. Religion is a path to realize God. Sri Ramakrishna was the embodiment of Vedanta. Embodiment of Vedanta. On 30th December 1894, Swami Vivekananda mentioned in the Brooklyn Ethical Association in New York, I have a message to the West as Buddha has a message to the East. What was that message? Vedanta. Vedanta, all the Swamis will speak about Vedanta, Vedanta. They will explain various facets of Vedanta. But Shankaracharya, the great exponent of Vedanta, mentioned Shulakardhena Prabhakshyami Yaduktam Grunta Gochivi Brahmasitam Jaganmita Jiva Brahmaivana. What has been enumerated in millions of books, I shall tell you in half a verse. Brahman alone is real. This world is apparent, and each human being is Brahman. That is, Sri Ramakrishna also said the same thing. Now, as I said, I have a message to the West, Buddha has a message to the East. Swamiji, what he meant. I shall not go in more main details. I shall tell you the four main tenets of Vedanta. First, divinity of the soul. Each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest this divinity by controlling nature, external or internal. Do this either by work or worship or psychic control or philosophy, by one or more or all of these, and be free. This is the whole of religion. Soul is potential. Sometimes, do you know what? Some people ask me, what about us? That is the Vedanta says each human being is God. How? I give an example. Here are 400 cups of water, and here is the sun. What do you see? You see 4 billion reflected sun. So all these human beings are reflected God. On our antakarana mind, this Brahman pure consciousness reflects and we become conscious. That is called Chit Jod Grunthi. We become conscious, we function. So all are living gods. That Sri Ramakrishna saw and Swami Vivekananda also preached that thing. Second, the unity of existence is the foundation of all ethical codes. The golden rule of all religion functions in that way. Do unto others what you expect others to do to you. That is the golden rule. Third, oneness of Godhead. God is one. I remember in 1980s, there was a local television station in St. Louis. I was there in Channel 4. So the man who wanted to interview me, he was a Catholic. He said, Swami, before you go to the camera, could you tell me why are Hindu gods, Christian God, Jewish God, Muslim God, are gods different? God gave me an idea. When the sun rises, can you say that is a Hindu sun, Christian sun, Jewish sun? Can you go and put a stamp there? Swami, I got my answer. Let us go in front of the camera. God is one. Sri Ramakrishna says, different God is, after realizing God, you will understand that, all friction and fight will go away. Sometimes I say that famous quote, we have enough religion to hate one another, but very little religion to love one another. Jesus said, love thy neighbor as thyself. Fourth, harmony of religions. Harmony of religions. I sometimes go to hear the symphony. I do not understand too much Western music. I count sometimes how many musicians are on the stage. Hundreds. Violin, cello, oboe, all kinds of musical instruments. They are creating a symphony. If it is only violin, it will be solo. Not very interesting. But we love to hear symphonies. That Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda talked about in this world. Symphony. All religions Once Swamiji said, let each human being has his own religion. There is no problem. Sects are good, but sectarianism is bad. Religion, harmony of religions. Vedanta in the West. United States is a grand field for Vedanta. Do you know why? American people love two things. It is in their blood. Democracy and freedom. Vedantic concept of God is democratic concept of God. I remember when I was in college, we had to memorize the definition of democracy. Government of the people, by the people, for the people. That is the best definition of democracy has ever been created. It was told by the Abraham Lincoln. Government of the people, by the people, for the people. So, the Vedantic concept, each human being is God. When you close your eyes, Vedanta teaches, say, I am Brahman. When you open your eyes, say, Tattvamasi, you are Brahman. You are God too. This is the Vedantic perspective of human beings. Freedom. Democracy, freedom. The chosen deity of American people is Statue of Liberty. If you go to New York Harbor, you can go. I went there. And I went up to the shoulder. There is a spiral. Here you can show, and you can see the whole New York City. I wanted to see Statue of Liberty. All Vedanta books you read, at the end you will find Jivan Mukti. Jivan Mukti. Liberation. Freedom. Freedom. Freedom is the song of the soul. So Vedanta Swamiji says that America is a very good field for teaching or for studying Vedanta. Very interesting. On 8th April 1900, Swamiji gave a lecture in San Francisco. That is one of my favorite lectures of Swamiji. Is Vedanta the future religion of the world? Christopher Isherwood read that lecture in Hollywood Temple when I was there. I still remember. Swamiji said, if you want to form any kind of religion, do you know what you need? You need three things. You need a personal God. You need a prophet. You need a book. Without God, without Jesus Christ, without Bible, there is no Christianity. Without Allah, without Quran, without Muhammad, there is no Islam. Without Buddha, without Tripitaka, there is no Buddhism. But look at Vedanta. Vedantic concept of God is not personal. Vedantic God is Satchidananda. Existence, consciousness, bliss, absolute, impersonal. Second, Vedanta is not guided by one prophet. We have so many avatars, so many prophets, so many saints, so many seers of truth. We are not guided by one person. Third, book. We have so many scriptures. It's not guided by one single book. Very interesting if we look at Vedanta. Religion. If you if you study the religious history of the world, there are three missionary religions in the world: Buddhism, Christianity, Islam. Buddhism is spread through love, through compassion. Christianity, Islam, they with force. Vedanta is not a proselytizing religion. Vedanta is really, there is so much freedom in practicing Vedanta. It does not proselytize. Swamiji, do you know what Swamiji major remark? In our part of the country, in fall, dewdrops fall, dews, trees, plants, fruits, flowers, fresh. And then when sun rises, the dewdrops disappears. So Vedantic teaching enter into the human beings like dewdrops, and it will make you flourish, and it will make you grow. That is why Swamiji mentioned about Vedanta. I remember I was in Santa Barbara. A man came and asked one of our nuns in Santa Barbara. She was a Santa Barbara nun. At that time, she was a little girl. Then one of the persons came that, who is the prophet of this organization? It is Brahmani. She said, it is a non-profit organization. So funny. I shall never forget. Our founding fathers declared freedom of religion in the Constitution of America. It was in 1976. I went to Washington, D.C. It was the bicentennial of the America's independence. America is a new country. It got independence only 1776. What did the American people do? They made a big exhibition abroad in America. 29 foreigners came to America and contributed American heritage. And Swami Vivekananda was one of them. A big pavilion. I went there. I'm sorry I didn't have camera at that time. Berkeley Centers gave that big that poster. It was there displayed. American people recognize Swamiji's contribution in this country. If there is only one religion, it will be boring. If somebody tells you, eat hamburger morning, lunch, dinner, day in, day out, what will happen? You will be disgusted. Same food every day, morning, noon, night, only one kind of food. I sometimes say McDonald's only attracts a few people, but a good restaurant or wide range of menu attract many people. Do you know what Swamiji said? If one, it is a clash of thoughts, a clash of ideas, generates new thoughts, new ideas. If all people think alike, if all people look alike, if all people dress alike, boring. That Vedanta discovered unity in variety. Each one of us different. No human face the same. Culture, body, formation, education, separate, separate, separate. But in one place there is unity. Where? Consciousness. Consciousness. My teacher taught me. You want to understand Vedanta? Yes. Do you exist? Yes. Are you conscious? Yes. Do you want bliss? Yes. Yes. You understood Vedanta. Existence, consciousness, bliss, absolute. That is Vedanta. Our teacher used to teach me on that way. What Swamiji said, if all people do know what will happen, we will be in the museum like Egyptian mummies. You look at me, I shall look at you. Millions of years we will look at each other. No new thought, no new ideas. Just look at each other. Horrible. If some people say one religion, let us have variety. But Sri Ramakrishna said, I play the flute with 7 holes and create different ragas and raginis. I mean, पांच बहनों ने खाई. I enjoy the food with 5 kinds of dishes. I enjoy life. That is Sri Ramakrishna's religion. We need variety. Many of you know Dr. Houston Smith. He was my close friend. He was the president of our society. So both we are in Kansas City, in the Kansas City. What happened? A young man got up and said, "You were a Methodist minister. Why do you go to Vedanta? Sufis, Dalai Lama." Houston said, "Young man, hold on your faith. It is true, I am a Christian. I eat my own food. I take other religions as vitamin food supplement. That gives me tremendous strength. Vitamin food supplements." Then how we learn each other? I mean, Houston, there is one thing lacking in Christianity. And what is lacking, Swami? You do not have 4 yogas. We have Karma Yoga, path of unselfish action, Jnana Yoga, path of knowledge, Raja Yoga, path of meditation, and Bhakti Yoga, path of devotion. You do not have. No, Swami, we have. I go, how? So, Swami, Christ said, love thy Lord with all thy heart. That is Bhakti Yoga. All thy soul. That is Jnana Yoga. All thy mind. That is Raja Yoga. All thy strength. That is Karma Yoga, Swami. Jesus said that. Love thy Lord with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind, with all thy strength. Those are the 4 yogas. Sri Ramakrishna's message is spreading. Let me, let me tell you a little bit about what Swamiji said. It was in California, 1900. What was reeling in Swamiji's mind. This is the last departure, the climax in California. He is going to return to India very soon. He told the American devotees, you will see, if you live long, you will see I will be worshipped as God within 10 years after my death. Then he told another American woman in California, here in San Francisco, Madam, I might have to be born again. Why, Swamiji? I fell in love with human beings. আমি মানুষকে ভালোবেসে ফেলেছি আমাকে আবার জন্মাতে হবে. That is our Swamiji. Look what Swamiji said. This is what Swamiji said. Whatever I say is the echo of my master. Listen. Our watchword will be acceptance and not exclusion. Not only toleration, for so-called toleration is often blasphemy. And I do not believe in it. Toleration means that I think that you are wrong and I am just allowing you to live. Is it not blasphemy to think that you and I are allowing others to live? Accept all religions that were in the past and worship them with them all. I worship God with every one of them, in whatever form they worship Him. I shall go to the mosque of the Mohammedans. I shall enter the Christian church and kneel before the crucifix. I shall enter the Buddhist temple, or I shall take refuge in Buddha and in his law. I shall go into the forest and sit down in meditation with the Hindu who is trying to see the light which enlightens the heart of everyone. Not only shall I do all this, but I shall keep my heart open for all that may come in the future. Is God's book finished? The Bible, the Vedas, the Quran, and all other sacred books are but so many pages, and an infinite number of pages remain yet to be unfolded. I shall leave my heart open for all. I shall tell you a little incident about Swamiji in Pasadena House. Ralph was the son of the Mrs. Wyckoff. As I said, Ralph, God is so near to us, but we cannot see. Why, Swamiji? Ralph, how do you see? Swami, I see with my eyes. Can you see your own eyes? No, Swamiji. He's a teenager American boy. Ralph, go to in front of the mirror. Yes, Swami, I can see my eyes through the mirror. Ralph, that is the answer. If your mind is clean, pure, you will see God. Thank you very much.